Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. My name is Caroline Heward and I'm the Harley Street Stress Expert. Today's show is Talking Heads and I'm an expert presenter in today's topic, which is what are the effects of porn addiction? And it's part of the Mind and Body Connection series. Let's begin. I'd like to start off with a quote from Orlando Bloom. He says, porn is super disruptive to your sex life, to your libido, when you watch multiple people at multiple times in one evening. How is your actual real life partner going to match up? It's so destructive. And Terry Crews says, my issue was and is with pornography is that it changes the way you think about people. People become objects. People become body parts. They become things to be used rather than people to be loved. Terry Crews. This is to set the scene of how men with porn addiction issues are speaking and thinking about their own porn addiction. And so they're not feeling very confident or comfortable with their addiction. And these are people that are from Hollywood and are speaking out so that other people understand the repercussions of an addiction to porn. So what are the behaviours of porn addiction? Well, it's being in front of the screen, whether it's a telephone screen, a mobile screen, a laptop screen, a mini iPad, whether it's whatever tablet or screen that you have, essentially it's your surfing screen. And so you'll be engaged in your screen constantly, or maybe not constantly, but every time that you can find the space and the time to be in your screen. And essentially, when you are in front of the screen, it's almost a perpetuating behavior that you want to be there. And so you'll find every which way to literally let go of normal life to be in front of your screen to explore porn. Remember, it can be on your mobile, laptop, tablet, desktop. It doesn't matter. It's a screen where you're surfing. So whatever your preferred screen is, that's where we're talking about. Even if it's when you're in bed next to a partner, even if you're at work and taking a sneak peek into your messages and to go into the porn sites. So what is creating this addiction? We're going to explore in a moment. But looking at the addiction of the behaviours behind, it's actually an escape mechanism. It's escaping from life. It's an escape into your screen, because there's something that's not right with life that you're escaping from. Also, it will affect that your own reality of how you feel and think. It will move you very, very much into the mind and very much into the exploration of the mind, and you will feel a disconnection with the body. And this is something that is regularly talked about by people that have porn addictions, that it's almost like a fix. They need the fix. And it's just like any other type of addiction, that the more that you have of the experience of the addiction, the less it does, and the more you need to get that fix, that hyper alert, instinctual experience of that pleasurable experience that you're looking for. So the addiction cycle of pornography, there will be some emotional triggers. Maybe there's an argument in your relationship. Maybe somebody said something to you that makes you not feel great. Maybe you're not feeling that push, that comfort space that you desire to experience. Maybe you're not feeling the pleasure in your life that you wish to experience. And so that will in turn move you to a craving, a need to experience something, someone. And there then is an escape into the addiction activity, which here it is pornography. So when you move into the addiction activity, it is surfing, looking, lots of different women, lots of different positions. But what's happening there is that there will be a temporary feeling of relief. And for some people, they will say of release. And so that addiction moves into an experience of a heightened experience of a dopamine fix, because there is an extreme need to feel that high that dopamine gives you. But remember, this is what you're seeing. You're not smelling, tasting, you're not feeling, because everything is in the mind. It's only what you're seeing. So the sensory here that you're using is visual. And then because you're very visual, you're very much here in the mind. And then there is a disconnection to the body, a total disconnection to the body, to such a point that when the addiction activity takes place and the temporary relief moves you into masturbation, then in that space of masturbation, there is a difficulty to experience the intensity of pleasure that you desire to experience. And then there is a release, an ejaculation for men, and then it's over quickly. There was a big build-up, the activity, the craving, and then it's over quicker than you thought it might have been. And then you move into a feeling of guilt, shame, and regret. Now, guilt resides in the second chakra, which is the sacral energy. The sacral energy is the second chakra of the body, and it is below the belly button. And when you move into that energy, this is all about movement and flow. And this is about your relationships. The center is about your desire and your pleasure. And the saboteur of the sacral energy, where the sexual energy is stored, is guilt. And so when you feel guilty, it's because you are sabotaging the energy of the sexual chakra. You're sabotaging your relationships, and you're sabotaging the first relationship is you, and the next relationship is your intimate partner. And if there is no intimate partner, then it's your family and your siblings. So this is where it becomes a challenge, because the cycle begins again, moving into a feeling of shame, guilt, regret, that it's over. There's like a huge, huge build-up, and then there is a nothingness, that it didn't give you the fix that you really wanted for the length of time that you really wanted to experience it. And so the cycle begins with the emotional triggers. It may be somebody upset you, maybe you've seen a couple together, and maybe you've seen a movie where the couple are getting on really, really well. And that then in turn moves you into a craving, a need for an experience of desire and pleasure, and moving into the addiction activity. So this is not a place of desire and pleasure. This is a place of pain. This is a place where there's short-term a feeling of temporary relief, and then long-term regret, shame, and craving. So this is not a good place to be. And anybody that experiences the addiction of pornography will say that they move towards it because it gives them something, but the emotional regret and guilt and shame that they feel is more than the temporary release and relief that they feel. Does porn addiction cause anxiety and depression? Yes, it does. Because as I've just described the cycle of the addiction, then what happens to the person is that in their head, everything is moving in terms of their thoughts, their thinking, but there is a disconnect with the body. Now, the feelings and emotions and the sexual energy reside in the sacral chakra, which is the second chakra. And that is also where the feeling of desire and pleasure is. But when you shut down the feelings and emotions because they're too much for you, because there's some difficulties, some challenges, it also shuts off the sexual energy. And then the escape route is the mind. And whatever you decide to focus on becomes the increase of your anxiety when you're thinking about future things, your performance, life, and depression when you're thinking about past things. And so the perpetuating cycle goes round and round and round. You know, Einstein said that it's a crazy person that keeps doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And in a pornography activity, the masculine energy is looking at, well, this didn't fix it. Blonde, brunette, blonde, short, tall, big boobs, little boobs. And so they're looking at what is it? And so they keep looking. It's the visual, trying to work out what is not working. And this causes in their own relationships, whether they be intimate, in terms of a physical partner, whether they be friendships, family, and social friendships, work colleagues, there will be a level of anxiety because they'll be very much living in their minds. So thinking about the future activities, and because they're craving that short-term fix, they are moving more and more into their mind, and that creates a higher level of anxiety at trying to find the opportunities to get their fix. And when they don't, this moves them into depression because then they're thinking about what they want to experience and what's not working in their lives, which makes them focus on the past. Does porn addiction desensitize you? Yes, absolutely. It desensitizes you to such a point that the body completely resents and causes an overall of dysfunction, and it deregulates how it should be experiencing life, because when you're totally in the mind and focused in what you're seeing in terms of the screen, it desensitizes and cuts you off from the neck down. So it's everything that you see, but there is no sensitivity of feeling anywhere in your life. It doesn't matter where you are, whether you're cooking, watching a movie, whether you're having dinner, whether you're shopping, walking the dog. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You will feel a lack of sensitivity of pleasure in any aspect of your life. And the other aspect of that, so it's not just about in the bedroom and your own intimacy, this is everywhere. And so why would you think it would be anything different in the bedroom? And so what happens is the body becomes desensitized and experiences no pleasure in any aspect of your life. So when you go into the bedroom, erectile dysfunction, where you can kind of keep going 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you feel nothing. You feel absolutely nothing. There is no sensitivity of pleasure, and it's difficult. And so you keep going. Or maybe you masturbate to try and get that feeling of pleasure. But remember, if you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, it will cause the same result. It's madness to think that doing the same thing and having a different result will happen. If you're doing the same thing and you get the same experience, it doesn't matter how many times that you have this experience, the addictive behavior, it doesn't change things. And so you might masturbate more and feel even less, and even feel pain. And the body may not want to experience that intensity of soreness and that push, so it stops becoming aroused. And so then the body starts to function even less. And if you stop feeling aroused in the body, what happens is then it's all going on in your mind. And the other thing about this is when you get into your intimate relationship, there is no feeling in terms of the intensity of connection and pleasure that you wish to experience. And it's really not great. None of this feels comfortable in any stretch of the imagination. But this is what porn addiction does. And if you are in a relationship and there is a partner, if you are in a marital relationship or a long-term relationship with somebody who lives with you, they will feel your lack of sensitivity. And they will, if they do discover your porn addiction, it will be, from their perspective, almost like you're cheating on them. Because you'll never get the same experience, because porn is by its very nature not intimate. It's there to satisfy a visual experience. Now, some people may push this boundary to experience more. So they may go into things like bondage or things like pain and look at pain pleasure to keep pushing so that they experience the sensitivity of the desire of pleasure that they wish to experience. But nothing works. So they go to the doctor and take pills, and that doesn't work. Erectile dysfunction is when the body stops functioning, sexual dysfunction of the main activity in terms of your desire and your pleasure. There will be a lack of performance, and then that will create the anxiety and the fear around physical intimacy, because your intimacy becomes in your mind and not in the body. So what do you do about this? Watch more porn? Masturbate more? This is what most people do, expecting a different result. Why do you feel guilt and shame? Because it goes nowhere. It doesn't give you the desired outcome that you are looking for. And more to the point, it pushes your boundaries in terms of what you wish to experience versus what you are experiencing. And many people will be very quiet about this behavior. And the shame is where it's all under the radar. They will be sneaking out in every aspect that they possibly can to have the experience of the heightened desire of pleasure, that dopamine fix, which they don't get. So they just keep doing more of. But this is the same as any type of addiction. Any type of addiction will have this aspect of wanting to get the high from the experience of that guilty pleasure. And then you need to do it more to get that experience. And this is just the cycle, the perpetuating cycle of the person that has porn addiction and doesn't know how to get off it, doesn't know how to get off the cycle of the addiction. The vicious cycle of porn addiction. It's a quote by ANKIT. I was battling every day to quit watching porn, but I failed. Each time I failed, it affected my self-esteem. And this is another aspect that is absolutely annihilated when there is this vicious cycle of porn addiction. Your self-esteem will hit rock bottom, because the more that you're in the screen, the more that you escape from your everyday life. And little did you realize that the more you're escaping from what is real in terms of what is possible for you to experience, from the desire of the experiences of your own sensory experiences of your body. We are here in a physical human body to experience from our sensories. And porn takes you out of your physical body and your sensory experiences and moves you up here into the mind and literally annihilates everything that you could have experienced that's possible in terms of the sensories. And so the sensory experience of the body is numbed, and the sensory experience of the body is gone, no matter what you're doing. And this will affect your self-esteem in terms of all of your relationships. And your first relationship is with self. And then extending from that first relationship is your intimate partner, and then your friendships, your relationships, and your extended family, siblings, and your parents. And this self-esteem is not just affected within the experience of the addiction, the behavior of the addiction. This is going to be experienced in every aspect of your life. So it's not a really good picture, and I've actually spoken to many, many people that have porn addiction, and they don't feel comfortable about it, and they want to give me all the detail of blonde, brunette, and I just say, you know what? You've told me what the symptom is, and I actually don't need any more information about what it is that you're doing to try and overcome, and the fact that you're still going back, because no type of person that you're watching is going to fix it. And sometimes porn addiction moves into a physical acting out, where they go and find sex workers, escorts, or something of that domain to feel the intensity of pleasure that they desire to feel. So they'll move out into the place if they are ready to act out with a sex worker. And then it still doesn't give them what they need. And so the people that I've spoken to and they've come to see me, they have tried all those methods and nothing's worked. And then they're asking, I want to kick this. It's costing me a lot of money. I'm in a lot of pain. I'm not happy. I'm feeling depressed. I'm very anxious. My wife, my partner has left me. Can you help? Yes, I absolutely can. And the first step in order to overcome porn addiction is to move into a place of acceptance and awareness, of accepting that there is a problem, there is a challenge, that you wish to overcome. And at that point, then there becomes a behavioural commitment to move towards a place of moving away, moving towards something else, away from the addiction. And many people are looking for strategies that are away from the addiction. And rather than looking at what you can do as an away, so you're moving away from it, and then that's like a restriction. I would much rather you think about how you can move towards something that you prefer, something that you desire to experience in your life, such as a loving relationship. And the first relationship is self. So learning to self-love rather than self-loathe. And what do I mean by that? In the behaviour of porn addiction, there will be a self-loathing of the experience, and there will be an uncomfortableness about speaking about it to anyone, including voicing, publicly speaking out, even voicing your thoughts, bringing them into the current moment, because it will feel very, very uncomfortable. And so one of the things that I would recommend is, if you're comfortable, to attend a support group, whether it be online or face-to-face, to actually speak out of what you're feeling in terms of the shame, the guilt, the regret, because it will help you feel different when you know that other people are feeling the same as you. Other people are experiencing the same cycle of addiction. Cognitive behaviour therapy is something that I do, and is something that I really hold a lot of store by, because it's about moving the behaviours from the place of being on autopilot, just doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result, where you don't get the different result, and then you go back into the behaviour and back into the addiction and back into the short-termism of release and relief, which doesn't give you the sensitivity of the outright desire and experience of sensual pleasure that you wish to experience. And it's because you're disconnected with your body, and so the body doesn't feel anything. And this is why we are here, to feel a sensory experience of the body. Food, the sensory experience of the sexual chakra is taste, and this is why we have a taste and a zest for life. And when you have a porn addiction, it literally obliterates that sensitivity of taste and experiences of desire of pleasure in that space of the addiction. And in the space of addiction, where you're moving into what you're seeing and then getting a short-term release and relief, there is no comfort in that. There is no epitome of the desire that you wish to experience. And cognitive behaviour therapy will be looking at the behaviours that give you the experiences that you wish to experience. It will give you the experience of seeing the behaviours for what they are, almost calling them out, and having an acknowledgement that they're not giving you what you desire to experience. And cognitive is looking at how the mind is working, how the mind is fixing you into that experience of doing the same thing over and over and over again, and not getting exactly what you were looking for. And the behavior is looking at how we can change the behaviors and how we can change your thinking so that you do something that's much more conducive to what you want to feel and experience. Now, I would recommend meditation. Now, some people go, oh, meditation, I tried that, it's hopeless, I can't do it. But what about if you think about exercise? If you run around the block, or if you go to the gym, it gives you, when you do that kind of exercise, any type of exercise, it takes you out, way out of your mind, and moves you right into your body. and you start to feel good. And when you're not going round and round and round in your mind, and the eyes will become sore when watching porn, and when you're not in that cycle of visual, you move the energy down into the body, and you're actually feeding the sexual energy so that you feel good. It will release those incredibly powerful, happy endorphins that make you feel good. And if you dance, if you sing, if you do anything to be in your body, and when you're eating a meal, to actually have all distractions turned off, so TV, and rather than shoveling it down really quickly, eating it slowly, chewing it slowly. And the more that you're in that experience, rather than being in the experience of eating for 5 minutes, where you just shovel it down and you're not tasting anything, take your time. Use a smaller fork. Use the experience of being in the chewing stage for longer, so that you actually really experience eating the food. And then you will probably eat less when you're eating that way, and you will experience more sensitivity of pleasure, because rather than shoveling down the food, you're actually going to be experiencing an eating meditation. And when you are in that space of being in that slow eating, you're being present to your food, to your body, the sensations, the smells, the tastes, the texture of the food. And when you're in that place, it will move you way out of the mind, reconnect you back to your body and to your sexual energy. This is why there are so many stories about food and the way that it increases your desire and your sensitivity to pleasure. Oysters is one of them that have an aphrodisiac effect. Strawberries is another one where the sweetness releases the endorphins and the taste buds. So anything sensory on the tongue, when you're actually experiencing the sensory of eating and experiencing the taste of what you're eating, that will enhance your experience of your sensitivity of pleasure and desire. One of the things that I've done in the past as a ritual is a blindfolded taste sensations to get people reconnected back to the sensory of their sexual energy and of their feelings and emotions. And food tastes really, really good when the sight is taken away. When the sight is taken away, then the smell sensory increases and the taste sensory increases. And I've actually had people drooling when I've given them just a cube of pineapple, all fresh, and going, oh, food never tasted so good. And this is how we can heighten our sensory experience of taste, smell, and eating for the not for the sake of eating, but eating for the sake of pleasure. And this is why this can be a meditation, eating, where you will feel that heightened sensitivity and your mind will become clear and you will become absolutely calm and moving into the body and feeling all sorts of sensory experiences that you forgot about while you were addicted into porn. So meditation is really not sitting on a mountaintop, cross-legged and omming. Meditation is about being present with whatever you're doing. And if you have children, if you play with the children, they demand your attention. They want your attention. And if you're physically there, but your head is somewhere else or in a screen, they will know, and a child will always, always call you out on it. So if you're getting that kind of feedback from your children or from young people around you, listen and take note, because they're saying it because they care about you. And then when you get present, when you play with a child for half an hour, you will feel different and you will get the same kind of laugh that they get because they're connected to their sensory experiences of pleasure. This is why children belly laugh, and this is why everything is good for them. They're either upset for a short time, 5 minutes, and then they're laughing and playing because they're connected to their sensory experiences. And 5 of the 7 major chakras are connected to the sensories. And so it is important to remember that the experiences of desire and pleasure are in the body. They're not just about what you see, they're about what you experience within your body. There's a quote by Chris Rock. One of the things I've done in the last year, not just going to therapy, I've gotten off social media. I got off all social media. I don't watch pornography anymore. And my brain is like, I'm focused, man. I hope that you like the accent there. I don't know whether I did it in the accent of Chris Rock, but this is what he's experiencing. Because when you're not in that brain fog of being completely here and overloaded in terms of pornography and being in your screen all the time and being in your real world, being in an awake, aware space in reality, we are here in a human physical body to experience our sensory experiences of pleasure. And we can get experiences of pleasure in every aspect of our life. We just have to get out of the head and into the body. And one final thing that I can share with you about moving into the body is when you breathe. So when you're exercising or meditating or singing or chanting or dancing, you are always in a deeper space of breathing, which reconnects you back to all of your sensories and reconnects you back to your sexual energy. This is why when a woman has sex, she's heavily breathing and she is feeling an experience that is not what she's seeing, she's experiencing it internally. And this is why most women will moan and groan, because they experience an intensity of desire that's an inside experience of pleasure rather than what they're seeing, because they are much more connected to their feelings and emotions. I know this has been quite a heavy subject, and I've not really spent a lot of time in this particular aspect of what effects are experienced by porn addiction. But I've covered the overall aspects, and there is much more to understand about porn addiction. I offer a free consultation either on Skype, Zoom, Messenger video, or audio call. If you're international, +44. If you're local, 07523 120 189, or email me and let's schedule that free half-an-hour consultation call. I can't fix everything in that half-an-hour consultation call. It is about looking at what is triggering and what is creating this so that we change your triggers. And then there is a process of moving forward in terms of your life and how you can have better behaviours that serve you. Thank you for your interest and desire. Thank you for your attention. Please subscribe to USA Global TV and Radio. You can find all of our episodes, which is under the playlist Talking Heads. Please do reach out to me if I may be of service to you. You can contact me on the details that are shown on this screen. I look forward to helping you bust and break through your porn addiction and your depression and stress that lead to the activities of what's not serving you. Namaste.